フロントウィング。グリザイアの果実。
Morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well today. Sorry, just talking with the supervisor. Yep, so, well, obviously, we're gonna be back with Fruit of Grisaia. This game is a trip and a half, just from half of the crap that comes out of these people's mouths. Like, holy shit. I never really know what to expect. And I'm starting to get kind of okay with that. Just because I don't know what the hell to expect them to say next. The game keeps me guessing. So, yesterday when we went through it, we had a little more time with Machina. Like, randomly stalking her and then teaching her how to fish. Then her just kind of, you know, out of the blue kind of dropping. And my mom hates me. My whole family kind of hates me. Also, thanks for not, you know, asking why they hate me. Even though it's because I'm an idiot. Just like, the fuck? And then we also told her a weird-ass ghost story. It's just like, oh, okay. We then had lunch on the roof by getting Sachi to go and grab materials for flowing soma noodles. And then with Bamboo, I guess we skipped class to go to the mountains to grab. Made a freaking, like a gutter system for the noodles to flow down. And then we talked a bit with people, mostly about Amane and what could be going on with her and why she's so clingy to us specifically. Yeah, that's about where we left off there. So yeah, we're just gonna continue on and see where this freaking game takes us. A hobby is a window that gives you a fresh perspective on the world. Or so my sister said. But when I was a kid, struggling through my daily life was about all I could handle. I disliked and avoided change, even when it might have brought me something new. That's a mood. So my sister's recommendation was to at least try reading books. That sister of mine was an unbelievably voracious bookworm herself, and she began to push the ones she finished on me. I soon picked up a reading habit, although I didn't find any particular meaning in it at the time. My sister is dead now, as are my parents and my master, yet I'm still reading. The sister who taught me to read books, the parents who weren't angry at me when I was reading books, and the master who praised me for reading books, buying me as many as I wanted. I'm grateful to them now, since I found some meaning in the act of reading.
Kazami-kun.
Okay. Sister got him into reading, and everyone was like super supportive of it, and now they're all dead. I guess you could say you could derive the meaning as honoring their memory, or just kind of being close to them without showing the emotion? I don't know. Kazumi's weird. I can't pin him down. Hmm?
今、少し時間大丈夫かしら?
Yeah. I turn around in response to Yumiko's greeting and find her carrying a sizable load of paperback and hardcover books.
読み終わった本を持ってきたのだけれど、読む?
Sure. Appreciate it as always.
いいのよ。私も読み終わった本の始末ができて楽だから。
Alright, so, okay, Yumiko is essentially taking our sister's role right there in, I finished this book, here, you take it. But she's also been trying to kill us. As anyone with a long-term reading habit is well aware, books pile up before you know it. That said, it's hard to just throw them away, and selling them to a used bookstore feels disrespectful to the author. The ideal is to find another avid reader to dump them on. Incidentally, before I came, Sakaki had apparently been pushing the books she finished onto the library. By now, she's established her own private shelf in there, full of pleasure reads. Most likely, she spotted me by coincidence as she was carrying her books there, and figured she could save herself the walk. Heavy, right? Here. I slide my hands under the books Sakaki is carrying. Watch it. Don't take your hands off yet. The books are gonna fall.
あなたの手が私の手に触れているのだけれど。
Oh my, how lewd. Of course it is. Don't worry, my hygienic standards are higher than you might expect.
そういうことじゃなくて。もう。
You complain too much. Alright, I've got a hold of them. Hold on them. You can let go.
少し無神経よ、あなた。
That's so? Anyway, I'll gratefully read the books. When I finish one, I'll return to the Sakaki collection, so if you want to reread any of them, they'll be in the library.
わかったわ。それじゃあ、私は失礼するわね。
Yeah. I take a quick look at the titles of the books I'm holding. Soeyaki, The Decisive Pudding Battle. Kumabara Takeru, Yesterday's Black Cat. Hiro Atsuko, The Exit of the Desert. Seno Takumi, Professor Takeda's Dinner. Ethan Crow, An Insolent Woman. Shinonome Kazuma, You Blew It Omori. Although she reads quite a variety of genres and authors, it seems that Sakaki fundamentally likes whodunits. Of the 6 books she passed me, 4 are mysteries. Whodunit? Yeah, whodunit. Whodunit, why they do it, how they do it. Come to think of it, I could easily see Sakaki sitting at a detective's desk, using her brains for a living. Flipping open one of the books, I speak toward the shadow of a nearby pillar. Makina, how long do you plan on hiding there? I'm not mad or anything. How about you come out? Your aura's too crude. I can sense you even when you're hidden. Oh my fucking god, are you Goku? I can sense your ki! I just said that for the hell of it. You were casting a shadow on the floor. I could tell it was you from the height and that shaggy head. Pretty much. Why were you hiding in the first place? Oh yeah, that's right. Makina's calling us Oni-chan now. Big brother. You don't get along with Sakaki?
私のことあんま好きじゃないと思うのよさ。
On the other hand, I'm pretty sure Sakaki said something like, I think Itasu-san avoids me on purpose. You're in a state of mutual wariness. Well, I suppose that does happen sometimes. Sakaki, the guarded person who doesn't reveal her thoughts easily, and Makina, who feels most secure when she's burrowed her way into someone's heart. Their personal comfort zones may be incompatible. Well, it's foolish to expect everyone to get along with everyone else in the entire world. There's no need to forcibly push these two together, but at the very least, maybe a mutual compromise is called for. I mean, that's what a compromise is. I don't think Sakaki dislikes you, Makina, so try not to hate her yourself.
だから別に嫌ってないし、ただなんていうか、何を話していいのかもわかんないし。
I see.
むしろ逆に聞くけど、お兄ちゃんはどうやってあの気難しいユミちゃんと年頃な間柄になったの？
Well, you see, when she came to swing at me with a box cutter, I just kind of caught her wrist and then told her, hey, cut it out. I'm not doing anything to you, so don't do anything to me. I mean, that's the gist of it. Well, it's not like we're particularly close, but we have a common interest in books, so I guess that helped get things started. Of course, I get the idea Sakaki mostly views me as little more than a convenient book disposal. After all, it's hard to say you're friendly with someone who scowls so bluntly just because your hands touch. Makina, do you have any hobbies?
趣味？そうね。強いて言えば散歩ぐらい？
Good enough hobby. Solo?
大抵一人で。
That's not good.
なんでさ、一人遊びってなんかちょっとエッチっぽくてよくない？
Okay, Amane is rubbing off on her a little too much. No. Also, no.
あれ？
At the company I work at, solitary hobbies are fundamentally discouraged. They place a lot of stress on keeping up some form of communication with others. When it comes to the interests of the employees, the basics are alcohol, women, and gambling, but it's a bit difficult to own up to that in front of the boss. Therefore, when asked, some of us just came up with safe-sounding conventional hobby like shogi or go. When the superiors reacted favorably to those answers, the end result was that the hobbies column in the employee survey data record recorded an overwhelming number of shogi buffs. Although going with the flow is pretty much the defining Japanese characteristic, it's still something of a pathetic story. Well, having given them a nice safe hobby like reading myself, I guess I can't really say too much. Nothing, just talking to myself. Incidentally, once you're the one giving the surveys out, in other words, an executive type, the hobby of choice would be gardening. Not something you can do when you're living out of a barracks.
趣味ってそんなに大事？
Yeah, It's better to have some interest than not, even if they're really worthless. For example, the aforementioned employees and their wine, women, and song. Even then, if they can help you find a single common interest with someone, your hobbies are worthwhile as social lubricant, even if they're worthless in every other respect. My hobby? Gunpla building? More or less kind of useless. It's just for myself and to, easily talk with others and maybe meet other people. Doesn't happen too often. This is something I heard secondhand from a senior employee at my job, but sometimes you get cases like this. Oh, for fuck's sakes. This is a story about a man who took a business trip to Gifu Prefecture. It was a group expedition with the purpose of field testing new equipment that had just been deployed throughout his company. At the time, the man in question was a new employee, not even out of his training period. Nonetheless, he found himself taking a long, bumpy ride into the mountains on a company bus, accompanied by the chief of his special department. The man didn't have the first clue why he had been selected for the trip, let alone what he'd expected to do on it. To make matters worse, he was sitting next to a powerful superior he barely knew. In short, the man was ready to vomit from sheer terror and anxiety. He fought desperately to keep calm, but his face was pale as a sheet. The bus finally reached its destination at the foot of Mount Kinka in Gifu after many unpleasant hours. But the man's relief was temporary, as his boss informed him they would be attending a large banquet in a high-class inn that night. Corporate banquets are basically a cruel kind of talent show. New employees are expected to perform some skill for the amusement of the gathered VIPs. The newbie from each department mounted the stage one after the other. Quite a few croaked out popular karaoke ballads with stiff faces, but there are also some pretty competent juggling acts. Even one stand-up comedy duo, which got some laughs doing imitations of superiors. When all else fails, make fun of the boss. The man watched the others' acts with a fluttering heart. His turn was approaching fast, but he was basically a walking, breathing lump of artistic incompetence. An antisocial type without a single talent worth performing in front of others. Just as he was wondering whether he could escape by pretending a sudden illness, the man was practically kicked out onto the stage by the senior employees. For lack of a better thought, he started to sing. But the man didn't know any popular songs. Worse, he couldn't remember any of the standard folk songs or children's music that might have worked in a pinch. The man instead went with the theme song from a superhero TV show, Lightspeed General Daimakarov, which he'd loved as a kid. Okay, is that even a real thing? I need to know. I really need to know. Lightspeed General Daimakarov. Nah, damn, tried. I thought. Sorry, just answering something. By this point, he couldn't help but feel a growing sense of despair. This was, of course, the man's first time singing in public, and he didn't have much of a voice. Within moments, he was showered in jeers from the audience. The hell are you singing? What's with you? Hey, asshole, are you making that up on the spot? That's enough. Get off the stage. You suck. Although he wasn't the type to break down in tears, the man felt a deep urge to dig himself a hole and crawl into it. Only sheer stubbornness carried him through to the last humiliating note. When it was over, the man quickly bowed from the stage and raced back to his seat. On that walk back from the stage, the man had thought, I wish I'd learned a popular song or two.
つまりカラオケが趣味だったらいらん恥をかかずに済んだってお話?
Oh, he still would have been embarrassed, but probably less so. It's like if I go up to like some kind of professional talent show and I just start singing the Barney theme song or something. I don't know the Barney theme song, okay? I'm just gonna put that out there. Used to watch Barney all the time as a little kid. I don't know the theme song. I can't even remember what it is. I could potentially sing any of the Power Ranger theme songs, though. Granted, the first Power Rangers theme song was literally like 5 words, thrown together in less than a day. Well, if you look at it that way, you're right. But the story isn't over yet. With the equipment test wrapped up, the man had returned to his new assignment at a branch office in Shinzuoka. Ah, fuck, I don't know. Shizuoka. Fuck, I gotta find out how that is. Where did I get an? Why did I put an N in there at one point? Help me, pronunciation.
Shizuoka.
Shizuoka, okay. Shizuoka. Someone called out to him as he was dealing with the transfer paperwork. So you were the newbie who sang Dai Makarov at the banquet in Gifu? And the man's breath caught in his throat. He figured out by now that the main job of his superiors was to flaunt their authority by picking at the smallest mistakes, and then rubbing his nose in it. And the manager speaking to him was infamous for his zealous leadership of his underlings. Frankly, the man was about ready to piss his pants. He swallowed and chewed his lip, bitter thoughts running through his head. What's he gonna blame on me? How long will I have to grovel? But the manager's words took him by surprise. I loved that show when I was a kid! The man blinked, dumbfounded by this unexpected development. You from Hiroshima, kid? According to the manager, Dai Makarov reruns were played relentlessly every weekday afternoon on the local station. In other words, practically every child in Hiroshima grew up watching the show. But the man wasn't a Hiroshima native. In the area he lived in as a child, the Children's Encore Theater program would broadcast old episodes of the show every summer. He just happened to see a few. Even so, the manager must have been really pleased to find a fellow Dai Makarov fan, as he'd begun to pull a few strings to the man's benefit. One night after work, the man returned to his bed in the company dorm to find a white plastic bag tucked underneath the sheets of his neatly made bed. He didn't remember putting it there himself, and when he asked around, nobody else had any idea where it came from. The bag contained a huge jelly roll and a cup of instant ramen. As a new employee, the man had to eat dinner at a set time of 5 p.m. By 10 p.m., lights out time at the dorm. All the trainees would be starving. This supplemental meal was therefore a very considerate present. The man had an idea who was responsible. Most likely, his Dai Makarov buddy at the top was the only one who would have pulled it off. On top of the early dinner time, learning the ropes as a trainee is particularly tiring. His Dai Makarov buddy would probably figured he'd have a hard time getting his young body to fall asleep on an empty stomach. The man actually didn't have a particularly big appetite, and wasn't the type to be troubled by irregular meals. But then again, as a new employee, he didn't have much money he could spend freely on snacks and such. A little sugar was extremely welcome. If I get caught, they'll punish me too. So the man split the smuggled food with the other trainees in his room, and they all devoured their shares greedily. As the presents from his Dai Makarov buddy, at the time they were known as the Dai Makarov supply drop, continued, that talentless, quiet, and hobbyless triple threat contender for the asocial crown suddenly found himself getting along with the group in the dorm, all thanks to the Dai Makarov connection. And 3 months later, when the man's training period came to end, it was once again his Dai Makarov buddy whose recommendation got him assigned to the Chiba branch office he'd hoped for. In other words, when it comes to hobbies and interests, anything is fine. Finding friends you can talk about some common interest with is really a valuable thing. Sometimes something that small can be the trigger for gaining a huge leg up in life. That's the moral of the story.
なんかよくわかんないけど、大マカロフって大きなマカロンみたいで美味しそうなのよ。
Dai Makarov kinda sounds like the macaroon. Oh my god, Machina. You are too precious. I thought this was a pretty meaningful story. Guess it didn't quite get across.
要は一人で散歩したりお人形さんごっこしてばっかいないでいろんなこと経験しとけってことなのね。
Well, more or less. When you're young, you should mess around with all sorts of things. Just try to find something that grabs you, even if it's stupid crap.
お兄ちゃんは今なんか夢中になってることあるの？
I swear to God, if he just says, well, Amane's on my back right now. She's got a hold of me. And after all that spacing out, that's a pretty sharp question. I glance down toward the pile of borrowed books I'm holding in my hands. I suppose... right now, I don't have anything other than reading that qualifies.
ロールケーキ食べたいね。
You aren't really listening to a word I say, are you? Well, not to say that you need to.
だってさっきのお話で出てきたロールケーキって単語が気になっちゃったのよさ。あとマカロン。
Okay, so who fucking translated this? The word jelly roll in the story just now got me Jones in something fierce. Oh my god, that's amazing. I love it. Go get Amane to make something.
ぜひそうしよう。お兄ちゃんも後でアマネーのお部屋においで。一緒におやつ食べようよ。
Yeah, if I'm in the mood.
じゃあまた後でね。
I see. I learned my own lesson from this conversation. If there's a mention of food in the middle of a story, Machina won't remember another word. I'll have to be more careful next time. We really are being like the big brother to freaking Machina. During my middle school days in America, I got a number of strange nicknames from my classmates. Mainly because none of them could be bothered to remember a Japanese name. On the predictable side, there was... Jesus fucking Christ. Wow, just wow. Alright. This game kind of doesn't want to pull punches with its dialogue. On the predictable side, there was Jap and Shorty. My family name Kazumi got abbreviated to KZ as well. However, among my numerous nicknames, the only one that stuck through basic training was Gar. I am Gar for Archer. That's that is a Fate like a Fate Stay Night meme. Someone in a thread wanted to say I am gay for Archer the character, but they misspelled it and typed Gar instead, so that is just stuck. I am Gar for Archer, even calling him Garcher. Oh. Short for garbage eater. It's not that I had a reputation for dumpster diving. It was a reference to my tolerance for shitty food. As to how I earned it, the story's very simple. The KP made a slop unfit for pigs, and I ate it without grimacing. Freeze-dried scrambled eggs, pork and beans made from scraps of ham, bread with peanut butter, and ridiculously stringy mystery meat were the staples. I used to be part of a youth group thing that had some ties to the military, and they'd have summer camps at some bases, and obviously we'd have to go and get meals at specific times of day. Every day during breakfast at the one base, everyone would try to avoid the eggs because usually they made you feel like crap. And then it became a joke, you don't want to eat the eggs because the eggs bounce. Which they did. You ever bounce scrambled eggs from one table to the other? These ones could do it. I think I only dared once to eat the eggs. I think I usually just went for whatever the hell else they had that was not eggs. Though the last time I was there, for like the last week I was actually at the camp, I just could not eat breakfast in the morning. I just felt completely sick. I don't know why. There's a random tidbit. You know me and going off on random tangents about nothing. Every one of them had a weird chemical aftertaste, and were all disgusting. Rumor had it the secret sauce was gasoline. As for the chocolate cake we got for dessert, it was more commonly and accurately described as a desert. The cake was legendary for being inedible. No matter how starved you were, it would end up stuck in your throat as a dry lump. But I ate it, and all the rest, without complaining. Probably because I was living rough from a young age, I've never been what you'd call a picky eater. To put it simply, as long as my belly was full and my body was getting what it needed, the taste wasn't a concern. I mean, that's just army rations in general. It, at least old and the, like, some of them are very quickly mass-produced. It's got everything you need to keep going. Taste is an afterthought. So even those 3 torturous meals a day didn't inspire any serious complaints from me. But the people around me must have thought I was some sort of freak. And after a while, my nickname became Garbage Eater, and eventually just Gar. Hey Gar, just how shitty a cook was your mom? I had a set response to this one. Wow. My mom didn't cook much. She was too busy screwing your dad's brains out. Oh my god. As far as my jokes go, I thought it was kind of witty, but that line didn't get that many laughs. I guess my delivery was a bit too stony. Well then, what should I do for dinner? I don't particularly feel a desire to eat, but if you don't take meals at 3 regular times a day, it throws off your body's clock and leaves you more susceptible to fatigue. To tell the truth, I view meals as nothing more than an element of maintaining my physical condition. As long as I'm getting sufficient nourishment, I'm not that caught up on when or what I eat. When I spend any effort considering things like that, all I end up thinking about is how much of a pain in the ass it's gonna be to make something. I want to eat food, then make something. And eventually, the act of eating itself starts to feel like a nuisance. My normal pattern is to just throw something together from my supply of canned and dried food.
なんだ、いるんじゃない。
Well, this is my room. Amane barges in like she owns the place, no longer even bothering to knock. And I'm already getting used to it, I guess. Probably because I've experienced a lot of emergency summons. It didn't get to me that much in the first place.
7時になったら私の部屋にご飯食べにおいでって言ったでしょ。夕食の用意してマキナと待ってたのになんで来ないかな。
As she speaks, I notice that Amane is holding a plate piled with crab legs in her. Where the fuck did she get crab legs? How did she cook crab legs? I mean, I know it's somewhat easy to do, but you just have a big enough pot and a stove that gets hot enough to boil the water and then do fucking crab legs?
実家からカニが届いたから食べにおいでって言ったじゃんさ。
I do recall such an event. I also recall responding, if I'm in the mood. Not that I'd definitely be there. Yes, but I said that you and Machina should go ahead and eat if I didn't show up on time.
何？あんたもカニ嫌いなの？
Not really.
殻を剥いて食べるのがめんどくさいでしょ？マキナも同じこと言うのよね。剥いてあげれば食べるくせにさ。剥いてあげれば剥いてあげたであの子。これぞザッツカニパンでしょとか言いながらパンに挟んで食べるのよ。基本的に物の価値が分かっていないっていうか、挙句には言うにこと書いてかまぼこの方がうめえなって失礼しちゃうわよ。
Probably just means that Machina places more importance on how easy it is to eat. Honestly, I think I'd go for crab paste over crab myself.
何よ、張り合いのない子たちね。世の中には食べたくても食べられない子がたくさんいるのよ。
That's certainly true.
分かったのなら文句を言わず食べなさい。殻剥いてあげるから。
Look, I wasn't really complaining, and I can take care of the shell on my own.
っていうか、私が来なかったら何を食べるつもりだったの？へえ、ご飯は炊いてあるんだ。でもこれいつ炊いたの？なんかカチカチ。
Hey! Hands off! Amane's wandered off into my kitchen and is examining things as she pleases. After confirming the contents of my mess kit cooker, she opens the door to my refrigerator and starts taking stock of my supplies.
食べかけの缶詰の残りと魚肉ソーセージとマヨネーズにレタスとチンゲン菜。何これ？たくあんの缶詰？こんなのどこで売ってるのよ？っていうか、いつ開けたの？
I opened it at lunch. Get off my back. Why is it that this feels strangely embarrassing? It's not that I have anything troublesome in the fridge. In the first place, where does she get off calling canned radish this thing? It's well known among canned food connoisseurs as almost decent and pretty much edible. Is this woman looking down on the brave men and women who have gained courage from canned food throughout the years? As I silently burn with righteous indignation, Amane brazenly starts running tap water into my rice cooker. Hey! What do you think you're doing?
だってこのままじゃご飯がカチカチだし、一回水で戻すのよ。
I don't care if it's hard. Probably because I'm used to eating canned stuff that comes out arid and stiff as a wax candle. I'm pretty tolerant of tough food.
卵はと、2つしかないけど使っちゃっていい？
I don't care, but what are you planning?
カニチャーハン作ってあげる。あんたはおとなしく座って待ってなさいな。
Well, I suppose pretty much anyone can handle fried rice. Especially for a woman, a somewhat prejudiced assumption is that you'll have a basic skill like that. Wow! I still hate you, Yuji. Fact is, out of all the women I've met so far, the only one who couldn't make edible fried rice was my master. Still, I can't quite hide a certain anxiety. Not that Amane is paying any attention, humming to herself as she cracks open the eggs. After shaking salt and pepper onto the eggs, she mixes in the lightly rinsed rice. and then adds bits of crab meat, only about half of what she brought, and finally chopped radish. She heats a frying pan coated with mayonnaise rather than oil. Weird. Adds the lettuce and spinach she plundered from my fridge, and throws in the rice mixture according to her own timing. Sticking the back of her ladle into the mix, she vigorously clatters it around the frying pan, messily stir-frying the food. When Amane decides it's done, she uses the bowl as a mold to form the fried rice into a perfect hemisphere, then tosses it onto the plate. This wouldn't look out of place in a Chinese restaurant.
そして最後に
Dressing the leftover crab meat with mustard and mayo, she drops it with a thud on top of the heap of fried rice on the plate.
はーいお待たせ
Now I want crab. So she says, but it hasn't even been 10 minutes since Amane started to cook. The imposing pile of steamed fried rice on my plate looks pretty damn impressive for something cobbled together out of leftovers, and in such a short time.
っていうかこの部屋もっと大きいテーブルないの？なんかお皿とかも少ないし今度来るとき持ってこようか？
Not necessary. I've got what I need. The table's a small coffee table, for one, that Sachi dragged out of the storeroom as a stopgap measure. And the frying pan and what tableware I have are things I picked out carelessly at the local 100 yen in hardware stores. But since I'm living alone, it's all perfectly adequate. So he went to the dollar store and got his everything. No point in getting more dishes when I'm only eating off one. Just means more things to wash.
確かに洗い物は溜め込んでないみたいだけど
Noticing something as she speaks, Amane returns to the kitchen and starts to rustle through a plastic bag on the counter.
これはゴミ？捨てていいの？
Yeah. I've been throwing my empty oolong tea bottles in that bag, and before I knew it, I had something of a pile. But I was uncertain about the timing to throw them out.
明日資源ゴミの日だから一緒に出しておいてあげる
With well-practiced movements, she peels off the labels, removes the caps, and skillfully cuts off their plastic rings with the tip of a kitchen knife. Finally, she lightly rinses the bottles themselves with tap water. Yeah, that is actually a thing in Japan that you're supposed to do with all of your plastic bottles when you're recycling them. You're supposed to take the label off, the cap, and get the plastic ring off so it's all separate and easier to divide. Because really, for the most part, all their trash and everything is divided into burnable and non-burnable. I think the labels are considered burnable, but everything else is, you know, non, obviously, so recycling. We ended up kind of being told through the book or whatever we had for guests there, it's like, just don't worry about it that much. Just have your recycling in recycling and garbage, and we'll take care of it after you leave. I think we ended up with like 2 bags of recycling and maybe 1 or 2 bags of garbage. Which the garbage in this case was just containers, like the disposable packaging from like sandwiches and stuff. We mostly had recycling because holy fuck, we were buying a lot of drinks. I was buying as much iced tea as I could. Like I was buying like 2-liter bottles of iced tea, keeping in the fridge. At one point, my friend also got like a 2-liter bottle of oolong tea, and some other kind of tea, which we both agreed was kind of crap. So we had a lot of drinks. And it wasn't even that particularly hot. Yeah, we went in like April, so it wasn't even that hot. One big thing about Japan, finding a recycling bin when you're walking the streets, nearly impossible. Nearly impossible. They're like never around. So you empty that, water bottle or bottle of pop or something. Be prepared to carry it around with you everywhere until you get home. So bring a bag just to hold all your recycling. A little annoying, but hey, it works for them. As the saying goes, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So, when in Japan, do as the Japanese do. Judging from the smooth motion of her hands, she's repeated this often enough to gain the mastery of an assembly line worker. Clearly, she's something of an eco-friendly woman. Stop just calling her a fucking woman.
じゃあ私部屋に戻るけど食べ終わったらちゃんとお皿は洗い桶につけておいてね後で洗いに来るから
No, I can take care of that much myself. Sorry for the hassle.
いいのよちゃんとこういうこともできるって見せておかないとただのエッチなお姉さんだと思われちゃうしね
You get the idea, I'm just a horny big sister role player. You can do both, obviously. With a quick goodbye, Amane heads out of the room, not waiting for my impressions of the crab fried rice. I had the idea that a busybody woman like her would be more likely to hang over my shoulder, pestering me for compliments, but she just popped in all of a sudden, cooked for me in a flash, then left just as quickly. Might be the influence of dealing with that whimsical Machina all the time. Bursts into room, makes me food. Doesn't elaborate, proceeds to leave. Whatever that meme is. Let's eat. Unfortunately, I don't have a Chinese spoon in this room, so I'll have to make do with standard Western variety. I jab my spoon into the mountain of steaming fried rice and quickly throw some into my mouth. Not bad at all. Even someone as disinterested in food as me can tell when something tastes good. The salt seasoning feels a bit thin, but this is probably how it should be if you're thinking about healthy sodium intake. Although it'd be insulting to compare this to the crap my master made, it's also different from the stuff you'd get from a high-priced Chinese restaurant. It tastes like your standard fried rice. What's with this flavor? When I was living alone with my mother as a child, I remember eating fried rice that tasted like this. Morning, Nichols. How you doing? After finishing her day job, my mother would make me dinner before her night shift started. In the last week of the month before her paychecks came in, it would often be a pretty plain meal of fried rice. And all she could put on the table was fried rice with a bit of pink fish paste added. She would apologize as I ate. I'm sorry, this is all we've got. Unlike the fried rice Amane just made, there was never anything extravagant like crab thrown in. And Amane's cooking skills seem to be better as well. You alright, very sleepy? Fair. Totally fair. I'm still kind of waking up. I didn't get out of bed until like almost an hour after. I was up just kind of sitting in it. And then I like slithered out of bed. I'm not even kidding. I just kind of put my legs over the edge and just kind of slid down to the ground off. I don't know why. So why is it that they taste similar? Where's the slight melancholy coming from? Well, doesn't matter as long as it's good. When I was a kid, anything I ate tasted good. That part of me hasn't changed too much. It's very dangerous to jump to conclusions about someone. When you make a judgment without sufficient information, you're going to be at least slightly off. Whether that's an over or underestimation, it clouds your perception and often comes back to bite you in the end. My employer is exactly the sort of organization that lives and dies by gathering accurate intelligence, and I heard a lot about its importance from my acid-tongued master as well. Therefore, I make conscious effort not to label others prematurely, except when I call them the big woman. Sorry, just take care of something with one of my bosses. Yeah, all this man does is label others prematurely. All the fucking time. There you go. You keep getting it up there. We're up to 15% for Fallout New Vegas. You might be able to do it. You just might be able to do it. You got a few days, and I will extend it, obviously. I'm not going to be an asshole. I will extend it. But I'm pretty sure within 30 days, enough people should be able to contribute enough. And if they don't, well, and if I can't extend it, you get all your points back anyway. So who knows, maybe you'll have just naturally built up the 50k in the meantime. Finally, we're getting more with Michiru. I spent so much goddamn time with Amane and Machina. That said, every time this Matsushima Michiru girl enters my field of vision, I find myself dying to stick exactly such a mental label on her. Yo, Michiru. I've been standing in front of you for a while now. Why are you acting like you just noticed?
仕方ないでしょ。今私集中してたんだから。あんたなんか目に入らなかったのよ。眼中になかったの。視界不良だったの。わかる？
That's 3 excuses. I see. Understood. But that utter lack of awareness might cost you your life someday. Please make sure to look both ways for cars before you cross the road.
うるさい。バーカ。
I offered an appropriate warning given your actions. Why the verbal abuse?
うっさいのうっさいの。あっち行けこの子の。
Michiru vigorously throws the empty paper carton she was holding at me. Flying into a fit of rage just because someone tells you something you don't want to hear isn't a good habit.
ユージなんか酸っぱくなれこの。
I feel like these last 2 lines perfectly encapsulate Twitter sometimes. Like, honestly, that felt so much like just a lot of Twitter culture in general. Judging that I don't have a foothold in this conversation, I pick up the garbage Michiru hurled at me and temporarily withdraw from the scene. 100% vitamin C drink? Reading out the description printed on the carton, I tilt my head in bemusement. I've seen plenty of 100% fruit juice drinks, but this is a new one. The parent company of this manufacturer is a pharmaceutical corporation. Maybe it's some sort of undiluted vitamin solution used in beauty products? Or maybe it's not meant literally and they're just exaggerating to play up the fact it's packed full of the stuff. Either way, it's a soft drink that emphasizes its vitamin C content above all else. Which means that it's probably incredibly sour and acidic. Must be torture to drink unless you got a pretty strong tolerance for that sort of thing. I do not. I cannot handle sour. I don't like it. I don't like the sour stuff. I'm also not a big fan of spicy things in general. I'm a basic ass white boy that likes my mild my mild sauce on chicken wings and the like. So why was she drinking this stuff? From the look on her face, I don't think it was out of fondness for the taste. Some kind of self-flagellation? Or maybe...
なぜあなたがここにいるの?
Interrupting my thoughts, Sakaki stares at me suspiciously. Yo, if it isn't human.
一応それが私のあだ名なのかどうかその事実だけは聞いておこうかしら
Calm down. If you lost your sense of humor, you won't be able to live a fun life.
別に楽しく生きるつもりもないわ
I see. In that case, it wasn't a nickname. Slip of the tongue. Happy now?
本当に腹の立つ男ね。
Aggravating as I may be, Sakaki nonetheless approaches me.
手に何を持っているの？
This? It's an empty soft drink carton. That blonde girl was drinking it earlier.
どうしてそれをあなたが？まさかそういうのを集める趣味があるんじゃないでしょうね。
Surprise! I'm actually a raccoon! I just collect everyone's garbage! Is collecting this sort of thing as evil a hobby as that scowl implies? I'm interested. Please explain in detail.
検索サイトでも使えばいいでしょ。
For some reason, Sakaki is trembling with anger. Seems I still can't anticipate what will trigger this woman's wrath.
話を戻すけど、それ松島さんがいつも飲んでるやつよね。嫌そうな顔をして。
Right, I wanted to ask about that. Why is she drinking something she so plainly hates? Did she lose a bet? Is she being bullied? Was she placed under a malevolent spell? Who is she being bullied by? There's fucking 4 other people, like there's 4 others. Amane just wants to make you uncomfortable with sexuality. Makina is a child. And Sachi will literally do anything you fucking ask her to do. You threaten everyone with a goddamn box cutter so no one even bothers to approach you. Who's left? The principal?
あなたの思考ってなんというか0か10かしかないのね。
Alright, so correct me.
さあ、そこまでは私にはわからないわ。あの子とは深く関わったこともないし、そもそもクラスメイトという以外の興味もない。
And yet I'm pretty sure you knew this was Michiru's carton before you asked.
あなたの底意地の悪さは字なの？それとも私に対してだけ？
I was just trying to explore an apparent logical inconsistency. The wrinkles in Sakaki's forehead grow deeper and her glare sharper. Apparently, there are some logical inconsistencies best left unexplored when she's around. Specifically, those concerning her contrary personality.
あの子、お菓子とかもよく食べてるみたいだし、いろいろな食べ物に興味があるんじゃないの？
Now that you mention it, it seems like she's always carrying those ramune candies around.
あら、あなたの方こそ関節が細かいわね。松島さんに興味があるのかしら？
I mean, personally, yes. Yuji? I don't fucking know. Are you interested in knowing whether I'm interested in Michiru?
あなたの前では余計なことを一切言わないように心がけるわ。それじゃ。
With an extremely displeased expression, Yumiko leaves the roof. There sure are a lot of troublesome girls in this place. After spending a little time sharing a dorm with them, it's pretty obvious that everyone in this place has a few screws loose, and probably a few skeletons in the closet as well. Coming from you, Mr. My family is all dead, now I work for a secret organization I can't tell anyone really about. I have a job doing a thing with co-workers. That's all I can tell you. I think you got a few fucking skeletons. Also, I'm pretty sure you were missing screws, buddy. Your screws ain't loose, they're fucking gone. I've run out of tea. Now to get the true caffeine rush. It's not working. Amane and Sakaki aren't easy to deal with in the first place, and there seems to be more to them that than they're letting on. The same is probably true of Makina and Sachi. That said, when it comes to that bottle blonde girl, no matter how many times I try to look below the surface, I keep hitting rock bottom right away. If she's got any hidden depths, they're very well hidden. In other words, I got a persistent suspicion that she's an idiot. Whatever, man. Still, it's too early to label her. I should bide my time and get a better idea of her personality before reaching any conclusions. She is a tsundere! Or trying to be. But seriously now. What are you doing?
またあんたなの？何人のこと観察してんのよ。
I'm not spying on you. I just happen to be here. Leaving that aside, are you drawing the character for person on your hand? That's a pretty stale superstition.
何言ってんのよ。これでいつ胸焼けを抑えられるんだから放っておいてよね。
Heartburn and indigestion?
そうよ。これやるだけで治っちゃうんだから、すごいおまじないなのよ。あんたも真似したけりゃ真似すりゃいいわよ。
Write down words on your hand, pretend to eat it, and you're cured. I've heard of some, I've heard of some, homebrew remedies for stuff, but that one takes the fucking cake. Sure, might come in handy sometime.
その時は私に感謝しなさいよね。みちる様は便利な体をお持ちで羨ましいです。
I thought the drawing on your hand thing was supposed to calm you down before a big public speech or whatever. Since when did it become a replacement for azulene sulfonate sodium? Azulene sulfonate sodium? Jesus Christ.
その成分については過分にして存じ上げませんが、みちる様の体内がワンダーランドなのは疑いようのない事実です。
You're pretty cruel, Sachi.
何がひどいんですか?
Never mind.
ちょっとあまね、待ちなさいよ。
Her sleeves have bows on the end of them. She's also wearing a collar. Not even a choker, it's just a fucking collar. I don't care. It's cute as fuck.
みちる、どうしたの？昨日、あまねに買ってきてもらったジュース、思いっきり賞味期限切れちゃってたわよ。嘘、それはちゃんとチェックしてるわよ。ありえないってば。本当よ、これ見てみなさいよ、ほら。5月3日って書いてあるでしょ。1ヶ月も？ちょっと貸してみて。みちる、 何よ、別に責めたりしないわよ。ただ完璧主婦を演じるあなたにもこういう弱点があるということを認め。今年何年か言ってみなさいな。バカにして、今年は2012年でしょ。それぐらいは。2011年です。
How do you forget the year? Wait, what am I saying? I forget the year all the time. I still think it's 2020. Thanks, Rona.
Eh, そうだっけ。そうです。あ、じゃあそれ、その表示ってその。そうよ。ここに書いてある賞味期限2012年5月ってね。あと11ヶ月先なの。わかる？だから賞味期限切れてるとか言いがかりなの。夕飯の準備しなきゃ。あまねも悪かったわね。引き止めたりして。待てこら。人にしょうもない勘違いで疑いをかけたことについて謝罪しろ。逃げやがった。
Yo.
ユージくん、見てた？
Ever since your polite greeting of "gah" toward your classmate.
あの子を何度も相手にしてたらそういう反応になるでしょ。
I think I can see where you're coming from. Pile enough of these cases together, and I can't help but bring my deadline to a conclusion forward. Okay, so he's really coming to the conclusion of she's an idiot. One day, the topic of Michiru comes up when we're all gathered together. Incidentally, the person in question is already in bed.
チルチルは宇宙人なのよさ。
Okay, Machina, you're adorable. Like, you're just fucking adorable. A unique theory.
だから時々頭に銀紙を巻いて電波を受信しているのよ。
She's dyeing her hair. She's putting tinfoil in her hair to dye it. That a fact? Because, I mean, we already know she dyes her hair. She did say, we did catch her and get her to confess, yeah, you dye your hair blonde. Because it's way too vibrant to be a natural blonde color.
チルチルを観察していれば、そのうちに見られるはず。
Although I have no intention of taking anything Machina says seriously, the scary thing is, when she says this about Michiru, it almost feels plausible.
宇宙人か。
What? You have a thought about that?
独り言なんだからいちいち突っ込まないでくれる？
You were mumbling something interesting, so I was curious. Sorry. Please, let me hear your delusions about Michiru the ET when you're in a better mood. Sorry if I rubbed you the wrong way, but try to keep in mind that I don't mean anything by it.
気に障らない言い方ができるよ。あなたも努力してくれないかしら。まあしかしあのおバカっぷりが今まで命に関わるところで発揮されなくてよかったわよね。
もしかしたらオリジナルのミチル様はすでに生き絶え、現在のミチル様は全くの別人ということも。
Jesus Christ.
ごめんさっちゃん、さすがにそれは話が飛躍しすぎでしょう。
そうですね。ミチル様ほどの頭加減なら 自分が死んでしまったことにすら気づかないという可能性もありますから。
それフォローになってないし。
Wow, Sachi. Wow.
チルチルの中には悪魔が住んでいるのよさ。
First she's an alien, now she's got a devil in her. A devil?
普段はあのおバカっぷりでカムフラージュしているけど、ひとたびそのベールを脱げば人の心を介さぬ悪魔が飛び出してみんなを一人一人血祭りにあげるのよさ。
What's the matter, Sakaki? Sounds like you suddenly caught your breath in fear.
私の行動に逐一突っ込まないでって言ったでしょ。あと詳細に説明するのもやめてちょうだい。ああ、私もう寝る。なんだか怖くなってきちゃった。ってなんか寒くない今日。
そういえばちょっと冷え込んでますね。
くしゃみが出る前に暖かくして寝ないと。
そんじゃおやすみなのよさ。お兄ちゃんもチルチルのことを忘れていい夢を見るのよ。
Is it really okay to just forget about her? The next morning, having finished my usual morning routine, I'm waiting for the others in the lobby. But for some reason, nobody's showing up. Everybody's late at once? Seems like a bit too much of a coincidence. The pattern so far has been Amane and Makina noisily arriving first, followed by Sachi and Michiru noisily arriving second, with Sakaki solemnly arriving last. The normally rowdy morning is bizarrely quiet today.
おはよう。
Just as I'm thinking this, Amane appears around the corner of the hallway. She's hunched over, hiding the breasts she's so proud of. Her hair is sticking up in places, and her skin seems rough.
風邪ひいちゃった。季節の変わり目なのに夜更かししたから。
Okay, so everybody is sick. You look bad. Your beloved breasts are all shriveled.
え、嘘、そんなはずは。
Jesus Christ. Of course. I'm just screwing with you. What kind of cold would cause breasts to shrink? Haven't heard of one.
あのね、体調悪い相手にそういう趣味の悪い冗談事言うのやめてくんない？
Understood. I'll do my best. Where are the others?
さあ、マキナは私の風邪もらったのか部屋でダウンしてる。
So we're waiting on the other three. As I speak, someone appears from around the corner.
おはようございます。
Sachi, the next to arrive, has an equally severe case of the sniffles. Her maid uniform is disheveled, bringing to mind certain cheap Japanese pornos. Oh, for fuck's sakes.
あら、さっちゃんもダウン？
はい、面目ないです。メイドとしてあるまじき体調管理の不甲斐なさで、世が世なら自害もやむを得ないくらいではないかと。
Sachi, calm down. You're fucking sick. It's okay. Holy shit. I don't think there were many historical periods where catching a cold was punishable by death, Sachi.
風見さんもおはようございます。で、他の方は？
This is all of us so far. Makina's unconscious in her room. Sakaki... Just as I was speaking, I hear the sound of dragging footsteps from around the corner. It's obvious from a look at Yumiko's face that she's in bad shape herself. She must be pretty out of it since she hasn't noticed that her socks are strangely bunched up at the toe. Her hair's a mess too, loose strands bouncing around with every step.
いいから
Mind if I ask when I'm supposed to be leaving?
いろいろと突っ込みたいんでしょ。でも何も言わなくていいから私への興味質問を他に向けてくれないかしら。
Understood. I won't comment on your bunched up socks or those stray hairs you got all over the place.
体調が元に戻ったら許さないから。
Oh my god, he's a shit disturber. Yumiko's forehead creases in the usual way as she straightens her hair and fixes her socks. But the powerful aura of rage that normally accompanies her scowl isn't there.
ユージ君は平気なの？
I mean, the dude lived in the fucking mountains. Staying healthy is part of my job.
そうなると体調が万全なのは風見さんと。
うん、そういえば今日はまだ見かけないわね。
At the very moment everyone was imagining a certain face,
だらしないわね、あんたたち。
Michiru dramatically appears in the hallway, as if she'd been lying in wait for the right moment to make her grand entrance. Probably because she had, in fact, been lying in wait for the right moment to make her grand entrance. Oh my god. Oh, my joints just snapped. And my neck too. She jabs a finger out at us in an apparent attempt at an impressive pose.
季節の変わり目だし気をつけなきゃダメでしょ。案の定揃いも揃って体調崩してるなんて実医楽もいいとこだわ。
I'm not sick. Also, did you mean negligent?
本当にあんたたち実医楽ね、実医楽。
Negligee? What is negligee? I gotta know. Negligee. Oh, for fuck's sakes! Negligee, also known in French as French word, is a form of see-through clothing for women consisting of a sheer, usually long dressing gown. It is a form of nightgown intended for wear at night and in the bedroom. Yes, Michiru, they're all see-through nightgowns. Oh my god. Ignoring me and her own poor grasp of the language, Michiru continues to harp on the negligee group.
元気だけが取り柄みたいなメンツなのに風邪ひいてバカみたいに鼻ずるずる言わしちゃって情けないわね。
あなたに言われたくないわよ。
Likewise, ignoring Sakaki's crankiness, Michiru reaches into the pouch she's carrying, takes out a variety of boxes and plastic pouches, and places them on the common room table.
ほら、ちゃんと薬とかインスタントのおかゆとか用意したから各自持って帰ってさっさと治すこと。いいわね。ムカつくけど今日は反論できない。
ありがたくいただきますね、みちる様。
感謝 謝してもいいのよ。つか感謝しなさいよね。
Oh my god. She's also trying to be a Hime Dere. In a truly rare spectacle, the group obediently follows Michiru's orders. The girl seems overjoyed. Almost disturbingly so.
こういう時なぜかあの子だけ元気なのよね。
This has happened before?
なぜか風邪ひかないのよ、松島さんだけ。一時は本気で一服盛られてるんじゃないかって疑ったこともあったわ。
Poisoning?
何を考え込んでいるのかしら。
You might not be too far off with that hypothesis. It's just that you aren't the ones being poisoned here.
はあ？
しかし見事に私だけ風邪ひかないわね。なんでなんだろう。
Michiru tilts her head in honest puzzlement. A daily vitamin C intake on the level of a self-poisoning. A sleep and activity schedule like that of a grade schooler. And a naturally tranquil, vacant mind. Combining all of these factors, it's no wonder she doesn't get sick often.
まあ、いっか。あ、ほらほら、ユミコもぼーっとしてないで。早く取るもの取って部屋に戻りなさいよ。
言われなくてもそうするわよ。
Although her words sound defiant, Sakaki also obediently takes advantage of Michiru's kindness. Even if her willpower has been weakened by the cold, it doesn't seem like the Sakaki I know. I see. I've gotten something of a new perspective on this girl. Honestly, there's no mistaking the fact that she's an idiot. But without a doubt, she's a necessary idiot for this place. Among this strangely precocious bunch, Michiru is a complete outlier in her lifestyle patterns and thought processes. I guess her presence actually helps balance out the group in a way.
おかゆ、梅味がない。
ああ、あまねが持ってっちゃったのね。わかったわ。じゃあ後で部屋に持っていくから薬だけ持って戻りなさい。
うん、わかったわ。ありがとう。
ユミコも存分に感謝するがいいわ。
Don't push it, Michiru.
あ、いや、感謝してもいいのよ。
Above all, I'm seriously surprised by the way something vaguely resembling friendly feelings seems to be temporarily present between her and this box cutter woman. Sakaki's apparent interest in Michiru also seems to hint at some sort of positive emotion. Michiru might have some sort of mysterious charm in her own right.
ちょっとユージ、
What?
あんたもぼさっとしてないで風もらわないようにマスクするとかしなさいよね。ほら、ここに用意しといたから立体マスク。
Put on your mask, everybody! I mean, that was just a common thing in Japan in general. If someone was feeling sick, they would put the mask on before going to work anyway. Yeah, I'll take one. Taking the mask Michiru thrusts out at me, I return to my room. There are parts of people you can't judge from a unified perspective. Trivial as it might seem, I've picked up another bit of knowledge at this school. She's drinking her 100% vitamin C drink again, isn't she? Several days after the cold incident in the dormitory, once again, I encountered Michiru drinking something sour in the lobby. From the way she's writhing in agony, she doesn't seem to have gotten used to it in the least. Why are you so caught up on drinking sour things? You don't seem to enjoy them. Do you enjoy making yourself miserable? If this is just one facet of a deeper masochistic fetish, I'll have to demonstrate a certain level of acceptance and understanding. Getting lots of vitamin C makes you smarter? You drink vitamin C so you don't get sick. At least try to hopefully not get sick. What's this about making you smarter? I thought fish was the brain food. What? Who published a thesis like that? And where? I like to think I have a basic familiarity with the benefits of vitamins, at least. Vitamin C's effects are so famous that I'm actually surprised to hear anyone was still researching it.
それはわかんないけど、ほら、イワシとかマグロの頭とか、そういうのに入ってるの聞いたことあるでしょ？ビタミン C が。
Okay, so she got the fish part right. Is vitamin C in sardines and tuna heads? Or is she just pulling something out of her ass? Sardines? The head of tuna? Sardines, tuna, and a positive effect on the intellect. I think I get it.
何よ、今さら気づいたってあげないからね。私はあんたよりも絶対に頭良くなって見返してやるんだから。
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
何さ、その余裕の表情。教えられる立場になった時に初めて後悔するがいいわよ。
Unfortunately, judging from the way she's confusing vitamin C with DHA, that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But to explain her mistake here and now would be too cruel. I'm sure she'll naturally discover the truth herself someday. Well, you may not be capable of teaching me much at the moment, but I'm counting on you to help me out if I get sick.
何よそれ。
Don't worry about it. You just keep up the vitamin C intake and regular sleep patterns for everyone's sake.
あんたに言われなくてもそうするわよ。
Spitting out a venerable tsundere stock phrase as her parting shot, Michiru stalks off. I don't stick labels on people prematurely. But regarding the girl named Matsushima Michiru, in consideration of various events up to and including the current case, I've arrived at a certain conclusion.
まったく気取っちゃって。ビタミン C で頭良くなるのは私だけなんだからね。
This girl is, in fact, an idiot. God almighty. Probably because I've been living in a world where maintaining a decidedly realist perspective is a matter of necessity, I've never felt any interest in the paranormal or occult phenomena. Such stories are often frauds, created to prey on weakness of human nature. And more fundamentally, I've never found any meaning in the idea of the supernatural. But in my workplace, where human lives are frequently given and taken, these sorts of rumors aren't uncommon. Even a disinterested party like me has absorbed more stories than I can count on both hands.
で、トンネルに近づいた人ってその後どうなったわけ？
When he got back, he went delirious with fever. His limbs grew numb and eventually totally immobile. When a doctor examined him, they couldn't find any cause for his condition. They threw in the towel and left him to rot in bed.
マジもんじゃないのよさ、それ。風見さんが言うと、どこまでもリアルに聞こえますね。
どうせユージが怖がらせようとして嘘の設定を後付けしてんでしょ。実際は何事もなくピンピンしてて今でも連絡取ってるとかそういう。
No, that's what really happened. And he died a month later.
いや、嘘！テンプレでいいって！嘘って言ってよ、嘘って！
I don't tell lies, even white lies. He's dead. Left me a little something in his will.
いやー！
チルチルは怖がってるのか喜んでるのかわかんねえ反応なのよさ。みちる様はびっくり箱のようですね。まさに文字通り。
Compared to the reasonably calm Sachi and Makina, Michiru's in a state of serious terror.
救いないわ、一切。
Amane's expression is also strangely cramped, and the way her Kansai accent is leaking out. I'd say she's not quite unaffected herself. Okay, she's like from the... Okay, she's got a Kansai accent. Interesting. That's like... I don't know, in Japan, the Kansai accent, you could almost roughly say is like the southern accent. It's a thing. And a lot of the time, as we saw in Digimon, if someone has the Kansai accent, they usually give the subtitles just like a southern drawl. Don't know. He wasn't that healthy to start out with, so there's a good chance he just picked up some illness that killed him.
でも、お医者さんが見ても何もわからなかったんでしょ？
Yeah.
もうだから怖いってそういうの。持病あるとか、そういや半年ぐらい前から咳してたとか、そういうソースないの？ねえ。
Nope.
うおー！
Michiru clamps her hands over her ears and thrashes around, moaning like a wild animal. Though the course of her evolution seems to have reached a new stage, this isn't the time to study that hypothesis. Were you that scared? Sorry.
違うわよ。怖くなんかないわよ。びっくりしたのよ。怖いのよ。
I wasn't scared or anything, just surprised. And scared. Oh my god.
みちる様、落ち着いてください。結論が時計の針のごとく元通りに。
だってマジじゃんこいつ。普通は気を使ってもうちょい緩い話にするのに、容赦一切なしで優しさかけらもないし。
まあいいじゃないか。チルチルがここで恐怖のあまり失禁したとしても、みんな何事もなかったかのように振る舞う優しさは用意しているのよさ。
Machina, you fucking savage! Oh my god, you fucking savage! Oh, holy shit!
失禁しねえよ。あとそれ優しさじゃないから。残酷だから構え。
Understood. If and when Michiru pisses herself, I promise to pay close attention.
すんなよ。
At any rate, my story's over, so let's stop for now. There are 5 candles in front of us. I blow out the flame on the last one that's still burning.
はい、お疲れ様でした、皆様。
Sashi turns on the lights and begins to clean up the candles. After dinner, for some reason, we all ended up telling scary stories in the lobby. It was a standard campfire-style ghost stories round, with everyone having a try at frightening the rest. Maybe the lukewarm summer night made it for a good atmosphere, as everyone got into it.
なんだかんだ言って最後のユージ君のが一番怖かったわ。
風見さんの話は虚飾がない分だけ本物っぽく聞こえましたしね。
Well, it's not fiction.
ちょっとやめてよ。最後は嘘でしたで終わっておくのがせめてもの優しさってもんでしょ。
Say psych right now. If I told you it was just a story now, would you believe me?
信じるわよ。ちゃんと言うなら信じるから。
Alright, got it. That story about the tunnel was all a lie. Also, my coworker's alive and kicking.
え、あ、やっぱ無理。信じられないわよ。なんとかしてよ。洗脳してよ。トイレ機械持ってきてよ。
I think they'd give up after a few minutes with your brain. Ignoring Michiru's hysterics, everyone starts to head back to their rooms. At this point, I realize something has been a bit odd about tonight. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Sakaki. The others pause at my words, then turn back around with thoughtful expressions on their faces.
そういや、今日は見かけなかったわね。さっちゃん見た？
いえ、今日は学校では見かけましたが、寮では見た記憶がありません。私はちらっと見たけど、すぐに部屋へ引っ込んじゃったから、その後はわかんないのよさ。
Maybe she didn't want to deal with us in a group? Given Sakaki's personality, I can't imagine her voluntarily participating in this sort of social event. My guess would be that she shut herself up in her room, since she couldn't avoid running into our gathering if she went downstairs.
いや、あの子って別にそこまでこういうイベント嫌いじゃないわよ。
Really?
まあ積極的に参加してるかというとそうでもないけどね。でも参加しておかなきゃって意志みたいなのはあると思う。
Amane nods at Michiru's words.
そうね。普段みんながここで集まってる時もあそこに背中くっつけて立ったままで話聞いてたりするもんね。
She points to a pillar on the edge of the lobby in the hallway.
はい。だから今日この場にいないことは比較的異変のように感じます。
I see.
ユミちゃんはわかりやすいテンプレみたいなクーデレだから照れてんのよさ。お兄ちゃんがちょっとスケベ心出して突っ込んだら
Yumiko's a kudere. What is a kudere? I forget the deres. Kudere refers to a character who is often cold, blunt, and cynical. Okay. They may seem very emotionless and stoic on the outside, but on the inside, they're very caring, at least when it comes to the ones they love. Well... Yep. God damn, there's a lot more deades than I thought. Ochan dere, go dere, hime dere, hine dere, kami dere, kane dere, oji dere, sundere, daru dere, kudere, nemui dere, uso dere, ero dere, hiyakisu dere, yada dere, baka dere, byoki dere, dere dere, kono dere, mega dere, nyan dere, ojo dere, undere, shundere, utsudere. And now I'm just starting to get repeats. Yandere, Kichidere, Kitekudere, Mayadere, Onidere, Sadodere. I think a Sadodere is just a, a sadist. And if I'm correct, an Aerodere, because I'm curious about... Okay. Yeah, Aerodere will act perverted and lustful at first, will become love-struck and more embarrassed after true love. Okay, that's an Erodere. And then a Sadodere. Troublemaker who enjoys manipulating others' feelings, commonly taking pleasure from it. It is common that a Sadodere will play with their love interest emotions and humiliate them as well. Okay, yeah, so a sadist. Of course. I said a fuck ton of deades.
そんな恥ずかしいじゃないって速攻落ちるに決まってるのよさ。はい、それぐらいの対応はあってしかるべきではないかと思います。榊さんは精巧なロボットのように的確なクーデレぶりを常時発揮されますし、今回の一件もそれに起因するものであるのはもはや明白であると思われます。
私なんか今すごくユミコに同情しちゃったわ。
同情？なんで？ひょっとしてチルチルもわかりやすい属性持ち同士、その辺は分かり合える部分があるとかそういうの？同族意識？チームプレイ？なあ、顔背けてねえで言うのよさ。
うるせえ！あんたのそういう必要ないじりに同情するって言ってんでしょう
が。
が。
大きな声を出さないでください、みちる様。急に大声を出すとお体に触ります。私は無鉄砲に生きるみちる様が心配でなりません。
Oh my god! Sachi, stop! She's already dead! Like, holy fuck!
サチもなんかなそういうの。
As I watch Machina, whose abusive tongue and nasty personality are growing more pronounced, Sachi, whose cyborg-like reactions are growing more dramatic, and Michiru, who's growing more victimized by the day. I find myself growing a little curious about Sakaki's way of life. Come to think of it, since that box cutter incident was resolved a few days ago, I don't remember exchanging anything but very basic communications with her. I don't intend to pry too deeply, but for the sake of a smooth school life from this point on, it might be a good idea to learn a little more about her. Hey, there's something I want to ask you guys. Do you have a few minutes? I'm just gonna call that there for today because I'm actually getting pretty goddamn hungry. In all honesty, I am very hungry right now. So I'm gonna order some food and then chill out until later tonight. Because again, at about 6-ish, more than likely, I will be coming back on stream. There we go. To build the Millennium Puzzle. There are runners in here. For me to put the pieces together, I just have to figure out how the pieces come together themselves, so I might have less hair by the end of that stream. We'll see, though. Alright, so, yeah. Besides the one to later on tonight, next stream is going to be on Friday, 10 a.m., back to Subnautica. We're gonna, continue on. Have fun with there. Thanks, Nichols. Appreciate you being here. So, yeah. Hope everyone has a good rest of the day, and I'll see you next time.